Okay, Lenny, first, would you tell me a little bit about yourself? When I read your Vita, one of the things I like best is that I see you are the hip hop journalist.
They say hip-hop Republican. I'm somebody that is a Republican that's focused on urban environments, making sure that we're taking these type of principles, but making sure they make sense for people all throughout the diversity of America so that we all can be better.
Now, how can you stand up to the kind of criticism that you probably get being a young black conservative Republican?
Because I love people more than I love titles or I love acceptance. The bottom line is we need leaders in America nowadays that are going to fight for people, even when it's unpopular, to make sure that our generations moving forward, our children and grandchildren, have a better way of life in America than we do right now.
Now, you've worked with Jesse Jackson, you've worked with Mr. Steele when he was the head of the Republican National. How do you make this stuff work for you?
Well, the bottom line is, again, if you love people and you're working for people, you will find yourself that sometimes it's what they call strange bedfellows. But if you're talking about civil rights, you're probably going to work with Jesse Jackson at some point in time, or Ben Jealous of the NAACP. If you're focused on being a Republican that's bringing solutions to people that need them, you're probably going to work with the RNC and Michael Steele and others. Heck, I've talked to everybody from Allen West to Jesse Jackson and points in between. The bottom line is that we're all Americans, and if you're going to bring solutions that make sense for everybody, here in Pittsburgh and elsewhere, you got to talk to the solution makers, and you got to bring about viable solutions that make sense for everybody.
The program that we're talking about putting together is a version of 4802, but we're trying to bring younger people in now. We normally talk about some national subjects if the president is talking about bombing Syria or something important like that, but we also talk about local subjects like our new mayor and what has to be. What would you want to talk about on a show like that?
I think the thing we have to talk about are jobs. We have to make sure that people that have been locked out of the recovery, when it comes from a national perspective or a local perspective here in Pittsburgh, that we're talking about how do we connect them into, how do the kids at Westinghouse High School get to a point in time where they have jobs and careers rather than being left behind as Pittsburgh rebounds in the 21st century. We have to be able to bring all Pittsburghers back into this rebounding that our region's going through and make sure that we can utilize all the talent in all four corners of Western Pennsylvania to make sure that we're a better region overall.
How do you think you would get along on a panel that might feature maybe another conservative, a liberal, and maybe even a libertarian, and someone who has no political definition? Can you discuss those issues with them?
We're going to be able to find common ground. The bottom line is this is all of our communities, right? Even though we may not share total commonality in every single thing and every single issue, the truth of the matter is we all want safe communities. We all want people to have an opportunity to be self-sustained and self-determining. We all want to make sure that people have a chance to pursue that happiness that's talked about in the Declaration of Independence. And we talk about this from 1776, but it's something that has to happen in 2014. So why not talk to your neighbors and see where those common ground areas are and work towards bringing solutions there?
Well, how do you bring solutions to when we talk about a violent community in our own community? What would you say to these young people who are dusting each other off?
We got to make the promise to them that if they stop fighting each other, we will fight for them down at City Hall. We will fight for them in Harrisburg. We will fight for them in Washington. They have to basically make the promise that they will stop fighting each other, but we, as the older generations, have to make the promise that we will fight for them every step of the way. And I think that once we show them that we're serious about fighting for them, they'll stop fighting each other and we can start fighting for a better future.
Is there anything else that you'd like people to know about Lenny McAllister?
I love our community. And I love solutions, and I love people more than politics, more than titles, more than fame or anything else. The truth of the matter is that I am somebody that's going to work for people so that people can have a better way of life.